Top neuroscientist warns, this toxic mineral is behind 99.98% of memory loss in seniors. The following is an urgent message for anyone suffering from frequent episodes of memory loss and forgetfulness, or living in fear of losing their most cherished memories and identity as they age. A breakthrough discovery out of Harvard Medical School is sending shockwaves through the neurology field. After scientists revealed they had discovered the real culprit behind age-related memory loss that leaves us feeling terrified about what inevitably comes next. According to these Harvard scientists, it has nothing to do with genetics, alcohol and smoking, or even just getting old. And instead with an ancient molecule your brain produces to protect itself from disease, but that begins to dry up like a cracked riverbed after you turn 60. Leaving your brain tissue exposed to dangerous proteins and plaque that begin to rapidly eat away at your memories until they're completely gone. Hi, I'm Mark Thompson. That has already been proven in real documented cases to protect against early stages of cognitive decline and help support the health of the brain. Because this Harvard-backed breakthrough permanently restores your memories and gives you the crystal-clear focus you had in your early 20s and 30s. Forever freeing you or your loved ones from the embarrassment of those constant, senior moments. The anxiety-inducing fear when you forget the names of your loved ones. And the growing panic of you or your loved ones losing their precious memories and becoming a prisoner of their own degenerating mind. The moment you begin using this 5-second memory-saving breakthrough, you'll instantly recall the most easily overlooked details, as if a dense fog had been suddenly lifted from inside your head. You'll effortlessly remember names and dates like people who've been blessed with a photographic memory. And you'll never again forget why you walked into a room, where you left your keys, or how to navigate places you've been 100 times or more. But most importantly, you or the person you love most will never again live with the fear of losing control over your mind, or ending up alone in a nursing home, unable to recognize your own family. As your cherished memories and identity slip away, leaving you like an empty shell. That living nightmare will no longer be a possibility for you, or anyone you know who has been diagnosed with cognitive decline or who simply wants to support the health of their brain and memory. That's because, unlike all the other unsubstantiated, predatory, and sickening, miracle medications that pharmaceutical companies love to push on aging adults, this Harvard-backed memory-saving breakthrough addresses the real, root cause of cognitive decline and stops it from eating away at our memories until there's nothing left. This is something that I can virtually guarantee no doctor, brain specialist, or family member has ever mentioned to you. Because it's based on groundbreaking, peer-reviewed research from Harvard Medical School and the University of Texas Health Science Center. And yet, this memory-saving breakthrough is such a straightforward and easy fix. Pharmaceutical companies and the thousands of morally corrupt doctors they hold in their pockets are doing everything they can to prevent you from discovering it, so they can continue to profit from mental and emotional suffering, sucking every dime they can get out of you or your loved ones until all your memories have been wiped clean. But let me be clear, what I'm talking about here has nothing to do with prescription drugs, over-the-counter supplements, or any brain-strengthening puzzles, all of which do nothing to prevent cognitive decline from terrorizing your brain cells and killing them off like prisoners lined up for a firing squad. I'll share exactly what this new breakthrough is in just a few moments, so you can use it in as little as 5 minutes to reverse the memory-eating damage that's already been done to your brain. Restore the focus and mental clarity you had decades ago, and free yourself or your loved ones from the terrifying fear of cognitive decline or any other memory-related issue that threatens to destroy your most cherished memories. So that day after day and night after night, you can enjoy the confidence and joy that comes with almost instant recall, effortlessly remembering the smallest details without any mental strain. Now, I know these are some big promises, but I'm absolutely confident in making them. Because not only did this memory-saving breakthrough work for my wife, Christine, after her early-stage cognitive decline caused her to forget who I was, scaring my children and I half to death, and who now say their brain power and their lives have completely turned around. Like Susan from Boston, who wrote in to say she regained her identity. I felt like I was losing myself piece by piece due to my declining memory and constant brain fog. It was terrifying. But then I discovered the 5-second memory-saving breakthrough, and it changed my life. After just a few days, I could remember things I hadn't been able to recall in years. It was like a veil had been lifted, and I could finally see clearly again. I feel like I've reclaimed my identity and my independence. Thank you for giving me my life back. And John from Denver, who said he tried everything under the sun. I've tried every brain supplement, exercise, and diet out there, but nothing seemed to work. I was starting to lose hope. But then I stumbled upon the 5-second memory-saving breakthrough, and I figured I had nothing to lose. I'm so glad I took that chance because the results have been nothing short of incredible. My mind is sharper than it's been in decades. I can focus on tasks, remember important details, and even keep up with my grandkids' energetic stories. My wife says it's like watching me get younger before her eyes. I'm so grateful for this second chance at life. Not to mention Caroline K. from Louisiana, who wrote in saying, "Before, it felt like my husband was slipping away from me, bit by bit. His once sharp mind was getting all mixed up, forgetting the little things, names, dates, even what he had for breakfast. It was that scary, deep word, cognitive decline, looming over us. Nothing we tried worked and it was heartbreaking. But then, our daughter found this memory-saving breakthrough. We didn't think it would work, but boy, were we wrong. In just a few weeks, it was like someone turned a light on in his head. He started remembering stuff, like our anniversary and our grandkids' birthdays. He could stick with a task without losing track. It's like a miracle, really. I've got my husband back and I'm so thankful. Now it's your turn to join these lucky and inspiring individuals. So let's get started right now. Like I said, my name is Mark Thompson. And for the past 40 years, I've been married to my beautiful wife Christine. We've been blessed to raise 3 wonderful children together. And now we're proud grandparents to 6 lively grandkids. As we were approaching our mid-60s, everything seemed to be going great for us. Until the terrifying moment that Christine was diagnosed with the early stages of cognitive decline. I'd been noticing the signs for a couple years, praying to God it wasn't anything more than simple forgetfulness. Wondering if my wife would remember her grandchildren's names. Of course, we sought help from doctors and brain specialists. And believe me, we tried everything. Christine had a cabinet full of medications that were supposed to help with cognitive decline or improve her memory. Donepezil, galantamine, ribostigmine, she tried them all. But they didn't do a darn thing to help her at all. In fact, the only thing she had to show for her medications were sleepless nights, constant anxiety, and even bouts of diarrhea. We even tried overhauling her diet to the point where she only ate leafy green, nuts, and tons of olive oil with every meal. But none of it seemed to help. It was all a dead end, a hopeless battle. But the day that changed everything was our 40th wedding anniversary. It was the most heartbreaking and terrifying moment of my life. And yet, looking back now, I feel blessed that it happened. Because if it wasn't for that experience, I would have never discovered the memory-saving breakthrough that I'm about to share with you. The same breakthrough that over 49,881 people have used to improve their memory recall by 97% on average. And even support the health of the brain and memory. Just imagine if you or your loved one could live every precious moment with your kids or grandkids without any fear of forgetting who they are. The joy of waking up every day with the mental clarity of someone 20, even 30 years younger, remembering everything without any effort or brain fog. Or just the simple pleasure of living life carefree again. Knowing that you'll never forget your identity and what your purpose is. Instead, you or the person you love most can make new memories with your kids and grandkids. And never again worry about ending up like an empty shell with no memories. Sitting in a nursing home and staring out the window as cognitive decline erases your most cherished moments for good. I can promise you that scenario will seem like a silly fantasy to you now. Because this Harvard-backed memory-saving breakthrough not only stops memory loss, but also protects against any damage or mental decline caused by early stages of cognitive decline or other memory-related issue, while also giving you back control over your cherished memories and mental clarity. That's why I'm so excited to share it with you right now. Frozen in place, I could feel the whispers and stares of our friends and family. This was supposed to be our most cherished day together. But it was only a heart-wrenching reminder of the memories that were getting erased from Christine's mind. It was then I realized that my wife would soon become a complete stranger to me, as her cognitive decline destroyed every trace of our precious life. And if you had told me then in that terrifying moment, that just a few days later, I would stumble upon a powerful breakthrough. So they no longer had to live in fear of losing their independence, their identity, or their most cherished memories. I would have thought you were playing a cruel joke on me. But that's exactly what happened. So let's continue on. The following morning, I woke up to Christine sitting on the edge of the bed. She told me she couldn't sleep all night, because when she remembered what happened yesterday, she felt more scared and depressed than she'd ever felt in her life. So I decided to check us out of the bed and breakfast early and get Christine back home as soon as possible. So I could start making plans for the future. And as I walked downstairs, the owner approached me and introduced himself as Walter. He said he'd been hoping to catch me before we took off, which I found surprising. Then he told me that he'd heard about what happened yesterday at the beach, and how only a year ago, he and his wife Shelley were going through the same thing. Their lives were turned upside down when she was diagnosed with early-stage cognitive decline. And they tried everything to keep it from getting worse. But it wasn't until they met a very reclusive doctor named Dr. Harrison, a renowned neuroscientist and medical doctor. She hung up her car keys on a hook near the door and said with a big smile that she was preparing breakfast for all the guests. And then she told Walter, "Don't forget we have an appointment at 3 p.m. today," and gave him a wink before disappearing into the kitchen. I must have looked totally shocked as Walter handed me a piece of paper with Dr. Harrison's contact information on it. "I think you should give him a call. He worked a miracle on Shelley and I think he could help your wife too." I thanked him, tucking the paper safely in my pocket. So the next day, I found myself sitting in Dr. Harrison's office, trying not to feel overwhelmed by the numerous degrees and accolades that hung on the walls behind his desk. Or how he casually mentioned that before he moved back to Boston to be closer to his elderly parents, he'd spent over 10 years leading one of the world's biggest neuroscience research centers in Berkeley, California. And he said that's okay because most people haven't. But when it comes to keeping a sharp memory well into our 70s, 80s, and 90s, and preventing cognitive decline from destroying your memories, this tiny gland is actually a very big deal. It looks like this inside your brain. He said that when things are working normally, this tiny, pea-sized gland produces a constant flood of melatonin in your brain. Now, you've probably heard of melatonin before or even taken it as a supplement to help you sleep. But scientists at Harvard Medical School and the University of Texas recently discovered that the natural supply of melatonin from your pineal gland is much different. Because in addition to helping you sleep better, it's also a powerful neuroprotector for your brain that is constantly at work clearing out inflammation, creating new neurons and connections, and preventing cognitive decline from infecting your brain. The problem is, as we get older, your pineal gland stops producing this natural supply of melatonin, leading to what he calls neural drought. This is when your brain tissues and cells are infiltrated by all kinds of free radicals and dangerous plaque buildup that allows cognitive decline to form and spread. Soon your brain cells begin to die off by the billions. Your brain tissue shrivels up and recedes, and your cherished memories are rapidly destroyed, until it finally robs you of control over your own mind. Dr. Harrison said this is why most brain supplements and even prescription drugs never do much to improve our memory problems as we age. And it's not a coincidence that as you get older, you have trouble sleeping and your memory starts to fade at the same time. It all stems from a drought of melatonin in your brain, he said. I was shocked to say the least. But if you're wondering why your pineal gland stops making melatonin in the first place, Dr. Harrison said that, while aging does play a small part in it, the real culprit is something much more shocking. It's fluoride, Dr. Harrison told me. Now, obviously you know what fluoride is, and how it's in our tap water and toothpaste products. You might even know that health experts have long been divided on whether or not it's harmful to us. But according to Dr. Harrison, this long-term debate was recently and very definitely settled, when an extremely distinguished scientist from Harvard, Dr. Philippe Grandjean, published a shocking study showing that fluoride is actually an extremely powerful neurotoxin, and proved that prolonged exposure to it can decrease your IQ, hinder brain function, and even lead to neurodegenerative disease such as cognitive decline. His findings were so controversial that the higher-ups at the Harvard School of Public Health pressured him to revise his conclusions. But he refused their threats and even won himself an award for his scientific integrity. Since then, the floodgates have opened into researching fluoride's effects on the brain. That's how we discovered what's really problematic about fluoride when it comes to cognitive decline, Dr. Harrison said. You see, he told me that numerous studies have shown how fluoride accumulates in our pineal glands more than anywhere else in our bodies. And this toxic buildup of fluoride essentially dries out your gland until it shrinks and hardens over, like a tiny dried-out raisin in our brains. And scientists all over the country are now publishing studies that prove this leads directly to cognitive decline. It's almost like fluoride is the kryptonite of our brains, Dr. Harrison said. And every time you drink tap water, or brush your teeth, or even eat certain foods, that toxic fluoride is slowly building up in your pineal gland, then drying it out and hardening it, stopping your natural melatonin and causing your memories to disappear. Isn't that nuts? And I just felt angry and betrayed. But most of all, I wanted to know if there was a way to fix this. So, what's the solution here? I asked. To be honest, I was expecting Dr. Harrison to tell me that my wife would need yet another expensive prescription medication. Or worse, some kind of experimental treatment that came with a lot of risks. But to my surprise, Dr. Harrison said that actually, reversing memory loss, brain fog, and cognitive decline is a lot simpler than most people think. In fact, it's completely painless. And it doesn't cost a fortune either. All of this new research into melatonin and the pineal gland has been a huge blessing, he said. Because now that we truly understand what's actually causing cognitive decline in the first place, we also know how to stop and even reverse it. Then Dr. Harrison said that one immediate step we can take right away is to avoid consuming tap water and food products that contain fluoride, because that'll just continue to make the problem worse. But if we really want to reverse Christine's memory loss and free her from any worry falling deeper into cognitive decline, we just have to do two things. First, we have to flush out the toxic fluoride buildup in her pineal gland. And second, we need to activate her pineal gland so it starts producing natural melatonin again. Dr. Harrison said that's what the treatment he'd given to his patients did. It was something he'd been working on ever since that groundbreaking research from Harvard Medical School and the University of Texas first came out. And to his knowledge, the first ingredient Dr. Harrison shared with me was called yamabushitake, also known as the mountain priest mushroom. He told me that in Japan, yamabushitake was used for centuries as a powerful natural remedy for brain fog and enhancing memory. And recently, scientists have finally figured out why this mushroom is so effective, discovering that it is all due to its unique and powerful antioxidant profile that is proven to flush out toxins all throughout the brain, including your pineal gland. Pure yamabushitake is like a power washer for fluoride buildup, Dr. Harrison said. Then he told me about a groundbreaking study conducted by researchers at Kyoto University in Japan and published in the Journal of Pineal Research. In this 12-week placebo-controlled, double-blind clinical trial, elderly patients with mild to severe cognitive decline and pineal gland calcification were given a daily dose of yamabushitake extract. And after reviewing CT scans of their brains when the study concluded, they were shocked to see how the hardened pineal gland tissue began to replenish itself, with 42% of the patients showing an increase of pineal gland size and a significant decrease in fluoride levels within tissue. It's like this magic mushroom was targeting their pineal glands and cleaning them out, Dr. Harrison said with excitement. Not only that, but the patients also showed significant improvements in cognitive test scores, short-term spatial memory, and more. Meaning